don't read the Bible through in a year. Now, of course, I don't mean actually don't read the Bible through in a year, but right now, wait to try it. Now, why would I encourage you not to attempt this? It's something that everyone tries to do. Everyone sets their New Year's resolution to make this goal happen. They never read their Bible before. They're not reading their Bible now, but this is the year that they'll read it through in a year, isn't it? They're also going to get in shape. They're going to get their finances in order. They're going to get their marriage in order. They're going to fix everything. The problem is that the foundational components of small disciplines aren't there. We really shouldn't make that attempt to read the Bible through in a year if we're not at all reading the Bible now. Because do we really think that we're going to go from not having read the Bible at all, we're not reading it in our day-to-day lives, but suddenly we're going to be able to read 4 chapters a day, 3 of those chapters are going to be Old Testament, and we're going to sustain that rate of reading for 365 days? No. No, what's going to happen is the end of January, people are going to quit, like they do with all of their other resolutions. Why is that? Because they set too big of resolutions in the beginning. If we're not reading our Bible at all, 4 chapters a day is going to be way too much. It's going to take most people 15 or 20 minutes to do that. That's a giant discipline, jumping from 0 minutes to 20. So here's what you need to do. You need to take the smallest possible step. And whatever discipline it is you're trying to begin, take the smallest possible step. I'm using the Bible as an example because it is something we all need to be doing. But what you have to do is humble yourself to the point where you will accept a much smaller amount of reading. And this is what I've had to do again and again and again, is humble myself and accept 1 chapter. And if that's too much, humble myself again and take 5 or 6 verses. 5 or 6 verses. That's going to take about 30 seconds. Now, if I can't manage that, humble yourself again. I'll humble myself again and try 1 verse. You can't really get much lower than that. That should be enough where anyone could at least do it. What we're doing here is we're reducing the barrier to entry. We are reducing the difficulty in actually getting started. Because what stops most of us from doing anything in the first place is that it's too big of a goal. The reason most people shouldn't try to read the Bible in a year is the same reason that if they're just getting into training, you shouldn't give them a massive bodybuilding style program with 1,000 exercises, 12 exercises a day. Or they shouldn't try to start training for a marathon by doing a marathon runner's training based on someone who's been training for years and years. They just don't have the foundational conditioning and discipline to start in the first place. It must be small. Whatever it is we're trying to achieve, it has to be small and doable. We are prevented from doing things when the action itself seems too difficult and insurmountable. The problem there is that we lose the ability to get started. The task is so massive that we can't even start going where we're trying to go. If we can't start going where we're trying to go, we'll never be able to maintain anything. But the reality is if we can get started, we can keep it going. It's much easier to keep moving once you started than to try to go ahead and start in the first place. So make it easier to start in the first place. How do you do that? By making whatever discipline you're trying to begin, make it small. Make it so easy that it's almost impossible not to do it. It has to be so easy that anyone can do it. Because here's the reality of it. If you read 1 verse of the Bible a day, now you won't make a massive amount of progress. It'll take you forever to get through the book, but you're not going to stay there. You're eventually going to grow your discipline. You're going to, like you'd grow your workout. The fact of the matter is this. You're becoming the type of person who reads the Bible every day. You're one of those top 20% of people in the religious world who claim to be religious, but don't even crack the book of the mind of God to look and see what it says. But if you do read, even if it's just 1 verse a day, you're one of those 20%. You're not reading much, no. But you're reading more than 80% of the world out there. And that's got to mean something to you. And it's got to be important enough and small enough to drive you on and on and on to bigger and more achievement. That's where it's going to take you. Establish those small disciplines. And whatever it is in your life, get your Bible reading life in order. And you'd start that with 1 verse a day. get any other element of your life in order. And you do that how? By taking the smallest possible step.